Товарищи, с содроганием сердца мы все вместе со всем пролетариатом нашей страны.
As the most prominent post-Soviet country, Russia is suffering from the consequences of 70 years of brutal atheistic ideology, followed by 2 decades of lawlessness and corruption. The absence of any kind of spiritual life in this country, in spite of its 1,000-year Christian history, has resulted in a dwindling population robbed of biblical values. Russia is rapidly losing its virtues and any sense of human dignity. Economically, Russia is surviving due to the high demand of its natural resources. People close to those resources prosper beyond measure. But most are struggling because of corruption and lack of opportunity. The main problem, however, is that both rich and poor are spiritually bankrupt. Alcoholism has always been a problem for the people of Russia, but consumption grew over the past decades. Now, Russians drink twice as much as people in other countries. Alcoholism among women and children is on the rise. Drugs are killing an entire generation, and Russia is leading the world in abortions and teen suicide.
We have millions of social orphans in Russia today. Children find it more bearable to live on the streets than in abusive families of alcoholics. Just think about this. In Russia today, we have more orphans than we had after the Second World War.
While many Russians call themselves Orthodox Christians, most are only vaguely familiar with the teachings of the Bible, and only 1% of Russian citizens call themselves evangelical Christians. The small but resilient and active evangelical movement needs a powerful voice. And FEBC is that voice of the Christ-centered church in Russia. Our main goal is to help people build a relationship with Jesus Christ. We also want to help them connect with a local fellowship of believers where biblical teaching is preached and practiced. FEBC operates radio stations in key Russian cities. Our teams in the flagship stations of Moscow and St. Petersburg produce a daily flow of live, interactive, engaging programs.
Well, first of all, I'm just so impressed with your staff, with their ability to create the kind of programming which really reaches out to the non-believer in Moscow and connects with them in a way that I'm just actually shocked works so well.
These programs touch every area of people's lives, and people respond. Families are being restored through radio dialogues where we share biblical principles. Social orphans find loving homes as we encourage people to adopt and become foster parents. Multiple suicides have been averted by FEBC broadcasters, providing hope in Jesus. Many teens have been freed from drugs through FEBC's cooperation with drug rehab centers. And most importantly, people not only resolve their problems, but give their lives to Jesus. Thousands have been saved for eternity. So what's next? We must take this life-saving message of the living gospel to millions of others.
Traditional radio reaches multitudes in Russia. But in addition to this, we have more than 1 million people listening to us online. Those are mostly young people, and we need to invest more in the new media to reach more young people in Russia for Jesus Christ.
Recently, we opened a new online channel just for them. The number of internet users will multiply in the next 3 years, and so will our audience. FEBC is also building new, efficient community FM stations in Russia, Ukraine, and other areas. From northern Siberia to eastern Ukraine, from central Russia to Central Asia, we are opening new frontiers.
Our latest God-given breakthrough is an opportunity to broadcast in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. This culturally Muslim country is being reached by the good news of Jesus Christ. People are responding to this exciting outreach.
History is being made before our very eyes. We have a unique window of opportunity to preach the good news to millions of people through radio using contemporary delivery channels. Much of our work is performed by volunteers. Christians in Russia, Ukraine, and Central Asia provide as much help as they can. That's why FEBC radio is so effective. For $1, we can have a year-long conversation with 2 unchurched listeners. We can help Russian believers talk to millions of their countrymen. We ask you to support us for one purpose: to help people discover the love, hope, and healing that can only be found through Jesus.